My apologies, we're about 3 minutes late. That's my fault. So I'll call this meeting to order, which normally starts promptly at 7 p.m. This is the city council meeting for May 10th, 2022. If I could I get a call? Would everyone please stand for the invocation and pledge? Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day on this earth with breath in our lungs. We appreciate anything you can do to make us full of life. We ask, Lord, of you that you guide us as public servants to allow us to make the best decisions for our citizens, and that you continue to bless our community. In your Son's name I pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if I could I please get a roll call?
Howard Stevens.
Here.
John Wainwright.
Do we?
Is he on there yet?
Oh,
He's
her
here.
Yeah.
Carrie Courtney.
Here.
Sherry Snowden. Dan Martin.
Here.
Matt Brown.
Here.
Okay. What date is it? What date's June? June 2.
The 19th.
Okay, a few quick announcements. June 7th, there will be a caucus meeting. Excuse me, let me backtrack. May, what's next?
17th.
May 17th at 6:30, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
May 17th at 6:30, there will be a public hearing here at City Hall, or here at the Senior Center, in regards to a zoning change behind Kroger on Town Center Drive, or on Kroger Drive. May 30th, City Hall will be closed in honor of Memorial Day. June 7th, there will be a caucus meeting at 6:30 p.m. at Council Chambers. June 14th, there will be a city council meeting at 7 p.m. at the Senior Center. And on June 19th, city offices will be closed in recognition of the new federal holiday for Juneteenth. If I could I please get an approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Howard Stevens.
Yes.
John Wainwright. Terry Courtney.
Yes.
Matt Brown.
Yes.
Dan Martin.
Yes.
Volume.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second. Caucus and council together.
Yes.
Howard Stevens.
Yes.
John Wainwright.
Yes.
Terry Courtney.
Yes.
Dan Martin.
Yes.
Matt Brown.
Yes.
Okay, perfect, thank you. City updates, first we have Sheriff's Department, Major Bill Mark. Sir? Getting out of here.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to be with you all again. Council's got a copy of my report for Sheriff's Office activity for April 2022. There were only 925 law enforcement events in the city of Walton in April. That's about a 10% decrease from March, so given the nice weather, that's kind of a pleasant surprise. There was, of note, there was 6 911 hang-ups. Deputies handled 34 alarm drops, 7 attempts to locate, 5 animal complaints. Deputies investigated 15 accidents. 2 of those involved injured persons. Of the remaining 13, 9 of them were on parking lots. 2 burglaries. One was a domestic issue where the victim's boyfriend was arrested. The other one was a theft of a heater from a house under construction in Aosta. Deputies did 18 business checks, attempted 41 criminal or civil summonses, handled 1 criminal mischief report, 8 domestics, 3 drunk person or drug calls, 1 emotional crisis, handled 5 juvenile trouble calls, 2 motorist assists, 2 overdose, 7 requests for information, 435 spot checks, 22 suspicious activity complaints, 7 theft reports. Several of those were thefts from vehicles, and then 1 was a theft of a piece of construction equipment from one of the job sites back behind the Kroger. The equipment was recovered. So we handled 33 traffic complaints. Deputies did 53 traffic stops, did 5 vacation checks on residents' homes, 16 vehicle complaints, unlocked 16 cars, 10 one-person complaints, and all told, they issued 20 citations and made 4 arrests. One other incident of note from my original report, we investigated a robbery in the city, first part of April. That was a drug transaction that went south, and the juvenile offender was arrested.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
Major, heard there's a catalytic converter stolen up at the carpet store. I don't know if you're seeing an uptick in that or if it's just kind of how it's always been.
All the time, everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's very frustrating for us because it's not like you pull somebody over and they got a couple of catalytic converters in the trunk of their car. We can't charge them because we can't tie them back to a specific car that they're stolen from.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's not nearly as frustrating for us as it is for the people that are having them stolen off their cars, but yeah, it's frustrating nonetheless.
Okay.
So when they're pulled over and they're caught with multiple in the vehicle, then charges can be filed?
No, ma'am, the prosecutor told us we can't charge them.
Wow.
Because they're legal to possess, and unless we catch them in the act, we're kind of hamstrung.
Which is going to be difficult because it's a quick process, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Funny thing is you gotta have either a really strong arm to take one off with a hacksaw, or you have to at least have a $200 plus cordless reciprocating saw.
Yeah, battery sawzall's the tool of choice.
I have taken one off with a hacksaw, and no, I was not thieving. I was working on my own vehicle, and I know this is not an easy task. So you really have to be motivated. Major Mark, I have a question about the overdoses, and I don't know if you're at liberty to say. I'm fortunate. I'm thankful that there's only 2 of them to note. And I don't know if you're at liberty to say, but are those? Are we looking at one drug or another, or are they both? Yeah, I know it changes.
Right.
It's an opioid. 1 year, and the next it's a meth.
If you're
Or
kind of asking like a technical question, I'm sure your fire department will tell you a lot of overdoses are what they call polydrug. They're using multiple drugs. And from the deputy's perspective, if they go there and find the person down and administer Narcan to them, if they respond to that, then, they've ingested some opioid, but we don't necessarily know what. It might be fentanyl, it might be heroin, it might be a combination of fentanyl and heroin. I mean, it could be the prescription, oxycodone, it could be a number of things.
Okay. Fair enough. I just, I know it's cyclical on, and I remember the federal government rolled out a lot of money towards the heroin epidemic and then, or the opioid epidemic, and then immediately, as soon as the funds were released, we had an uptick in meth cases here.
Yeah, like I said, it's cyclical. It goes from your prescription opioids to heroin to fentanyl. It's different products that satisfy the same need.
Okay. I appreciate you. Council, any more questions or citizens? Anybody questions for Major Mark?
Theft of the equipment over there behind town.
Yeah.
Any contributing factors to that?
It was a overnight theft of some type of attachment for a skid steer.
In a completely dark area,
I'm not exactly sure.
which made it an easy target.
I'm sorry, I missed the location of this one. What was that?
Construction site back behind Kroger's.
Where the car wash is.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, so I know they had somehow caught video of the vehicle. Were they able to locate that vehicle?
No, they were out of the area by the time the deputy was on the scene. And he was on the scene within minutes. Yeah, because he found it sitting in the middle of the intersection on Mary Groves. The
Well,
attachment.
yeah, it was over on, it was actually over next to Kroger's on
Yeah.
town side.
You're on town, so, yeah. Yeah, but that one got away.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We'll go with Mr. Allier. You're not Chief Vest.
Not today. Thank goodness.
Are you afraid of snakes like
Thank you, sir.
Jesus?
Absolutely not. I own a couple of my own house.
Well, I bet you might be the one to put that one out in front of his vehicle. Hey, I won't tell on you. This isn't a publicized meeting.
That's why you keep them off YouTube.
No recordings at all. Tell us all about it.
Good evening. Here we have the presentation for the month of April. Yes, correct, April. You can see that Walton, city limits of Walton, 30% of our response area. Our biggest responses, of course, are always EMS. We do quite a bit of that throughout. Nothing out of the ordinary happened in the city for us this time, which is good. So that's pretty much the report for what we have. Note, we have completed the process and we are in building 2 new fire trucks. So with the supply chain issues, it'll probably be a while. We're expecting those to be delivered at the end of 2023, 2024. You should see 2 new shiny red fire trucks about that time.
Good stuff.
Any questions?
Are you guys retiring older ones, or is it just adding to the fleet?
The 2 trucks that we currently use that are first out are the E1s. They are almost 20 years old, so they will go to reserve fire trucks. One will be a reserve, and then one will be a training fire truck. We had a 1991 Grumman fire truck that we surplused, and it is been bought. We awarded the bid. The new owner has paid for it, and it is actually going to go to Dry Ridge at Kelly's Homestead Restaurant down there in the shopping center, and it's going to be a display here for them. And he's going to take it around to fairs and stuff and get pictures with kids and use it as a food type delivery type thing. So it was good. We're happy to see somebody got it. The other option was if nobody put a bid on it, it was going to go to the scrapyard, and that would have kind of broken a couple of firefighters' arms. That truck was originally bought by the fire department, so it wasn't in service any other place except Walton. And it served many good years and helped the community out quite well. So we're glad to see that it's going somewhere to get better use out of it, and especially with helping educate kids and stuff like that. So we're real happy that's,
Good.
any questions?
Council, any questions? I have one, but I'll give you all the opportunity first. Chief and I have had discussion, talking about the ISO score. Will these new trucks help in any way towards your all's ISO score?
They will, yeah. The fact that we're gonna have the 2 older trucks that we're gonna put into reserve gives us more points for that. Plus, the newer trucks are more modern and have a few more capabilities than the older trucks that we're getting ready to replace. So that should definitely help us in our ISO score. We were very close, like we said, we've been a 4Y for quite a while. This past year, we were able to get it down to a 3. In about a year or 2, we're gonna look at it again. There should be those new fire trucks should help, and some of the things that are going on in the county with the water and stuff like that. We're hoping that the next time we go for an evaluation, we'll get it down to a 2. And
And the 2 is your all's ceiling, correct?
1 is actually the lowest, but
Well, I know 1, but there's not a chance,
not for a 1. no.
not for a 1 ever. That's for a Louisville,
Yeah, that's usually
Lexington.
your bigger fire department.
Yes, that's it, okay.
Yeah, but 2 would be great for us. And I think we can get there. We're pretty confident we can get to it.
And for any of you all, citizens or council members or our vast YouTube following, that is good for the taxpayer of Walton. That relates to their overall insurance rating. Their ISO score is relatable to a lot of things, but overall it helps with insurance rating. Better rating means the potential for less funds spent at taxpayer dime, correct?
Correct. Anytime we lower the ISO rating, it should help lower insurances throughout. And we field multiple calls from insurance companies when a business or somebody's moving in, and they usually, it's one of the things they ask what our ISO rating is. And that's where they base their insurance cost.
So it actually helps out businesses in town the lower your all's ISO rating is.
Yes, it does.
Well, that's something I didn't know or didn't think about, but so thank you for adding that.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay. We have no further questions for, what's this, Chief Hollier?
Thank you, sir.
We got this guy. You know what? If we didn't have so many questions about what's going on with the city, I'd just let you sit over there. We have Matt Bogan with Cardinal Engineering.
All right. Apologies for just showing up. Florence was ridiculous. I was parking that truck on 75. So anyway,
We're glad you're here.
25 wasn't much better.
I figured. I come with some actual news about the High Street project this month. I know. Unfortunately, it's not the all clear to put out the bid, but it's something. I've been in touch with District 6. They do have the right-of-way documents and are reviewing it. And I asked them about how we could go about requesting additional funding for the project, since it had been 6 years since the initial grant application. OKI does have an application period open currently until June 3rd. We just need to get them, update the application and send them an up-to-date cost estimate with the up-to-date bridge costs, the lifts, the sidewalk improvements, and the other things that weren't on the initial application. Also, they said to go ahead and include the numbers for the railroad flaggers and my site inspection time with that, which I I wasn't at part at the time. I'm not sure if that was included with the initial budget, but we can get up to 10% of the initial grant money, so $25,000. and we should be, once we do that, we should get a response back after the June 7th committee meeting. Wanting to know if we got it or not. And the state said that, based on the fact that construction costs have gone up, the scope of the project has expanded beyond what we originally expected, that they thought that should be an issue getting that work. For our 2022 road projects, the road contract is out to bid currently. The opening is this Thursday. We had some reports of damage on Service Road at the Bobcat dealership project. I was in touch with Michael's Construction. They're the prime contractor on the job. They said that it wasn't their equipment, but that they had a subcontractor that was in and out of the site hauling the extra fill out of there. And that was what caused all the damage at the entrance. So that subcontractor is going to be out there this week doing some patching, just enough to keep the street in usable condition until the project is complete. And they'll come back and resurface that whole section. And then Mayor Brown forwarded me an email a few days ago from the school district about 11 School Road. It's the property right across from the school. They're using it for the archery club, I believe. They'll be out there this summer doing some improvements on the site. There is an agreement in place, though, that the city would make any improvements to the culvert and the ditch line in the city right-of-way to accommodate that. So I'm getting some contractor quotes on those improvements. I'm pretty sure it'll be under the $30,000 that we would need to bid that out, but we're getting some quotes back, so we'll check that in pretty soon. Then some updates on the Owens property. As we discussed at caucus last week, the dredging is in progress. The contractor had asked for some ideas on locations for a secondary sludge pit. He's got the first one on the west side of the pond. We're looking at some other areas. I'm hoping that we can use the area just to the east side where it's been cleared off. That does kind of get into the area where we talked to the fire department about their training site. I talked to Chief Vest earlier today. He said they're probably still about a year out from construction on their site, so he didn't think it would be an issue if we use that area temporarily. He did mention that, I think he brought this up at last month's meeting, but they've been talking to Duke Energy about trying to negotiate with things on relocating the pole line. I think the initial quote they got was $100,000, and he's talked them down to $65,000, but we'd like to avoid that if at all possible. So he asked if maybe in the next couple of weeks we could meet, look over the plan that we sent them previously and see if we can make any adjustments to the property line to give them, kind of shift it up the hill a little bit from what it was previously.
We might even be able to ask Duke nicely if they would do that, or we could even possibly see if we couldn't use an outside contractor of our own to do it for cheaper. We have a good relationship with the Baldwin Group here in town. They might be able to move a pole for us, provided material and cost at a lower cost to us. If that was, I don't see the city doing it on their own for a fire department project, given the circumstances, but I also understand it from, the fire department's point that that's a big expenditure they probably weren't seeing. And honestly, I'm not really sure why that pole was running through that property anyway. As far as a right-of-way, goes, generally it's in a street, and that runs 20, 30 foot into that property all the way through it.
Probably just
something happens at some point.
It wasn't anybody's way.
Right, yeah. But now to move it, I get it. And to touch on the High Street pedestrian bridge, I called our former state representative, Sal Santoro. He's been redistricted out of our area, but he's still very much willing to help the city of Walton. And he's still head of the transportation cabinet, or committee, at least in the House. He called me this morning. He wasn't able to get a hold of anybody in Frankfurt before Derby. But he got a hold of them. They called him back this morning. They are actively working on reviewing everything that we have at the state level for this. I don't know what the increase in OKI has exactly to do with this, or in regards to delays, but
I think it's unrelated.
yeah, they're working on doing approval, so I'm hopeful that Sal's call will maybe take that off of the, bring that up in the stack that was on their desk
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, at least 2 or 3 pages up, you know.
Yeah.
With the road projects, we also, I would think, in my mind, the Levin School Road, I would think that would be well under a $30,000 threshold. I'm thinking at max 10, in my mind anyway. I don't know how crazy they're trying to get with it, but
I mean, it was upsizing the culvert that was there from 15 to 18 inches. That's not a big deal. Adding head walls on both sides, and then, you know, repairing the ditch and putting some riprap on it.
Yeah,
Nothing too crazy.
I don't see that as a huge expenditure, and if it gets somewhere close to a $30,000 deal, we might want to have a conversation with good old Walton Brown Schools.
Can you guys elaborate on why are we doing it and not the school doing it?
It's a city
Do I wanna know?
right away.
Okay.
It's a city right away, and they purchased it. It's more of a widening. When they do the widening of the drive, there is a very small, very old, outdated culvert there, and it doesn't drain very well. It poses some problems. So potentially, we should have done it probably years ago, but it was a tractor farm equipment place, and they never said a word about it. I think it's more in relation to the school. Like I said, if it starts getting into something crazy, which I don't think it will, I have full confidence it won't. I think it's, in my mind, when we first looked at this, it was, you know, some digging out of the ditch line and installing a bigger culvert, and that's not anything that is beyond the norm for us to do anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, we did some ditching repairs out there 3 or 4 years ago when we did School Road, just because it had been silted up. And so it's been a problem for a while now, and upsizing the culvert is pretty much the next step, just to keep everything flowing well there. So it's not really anything outlandish. Any questions?
Thank you,
Matt,
Matt.
I'm still on to see you on
Monday?
next Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a time set there?
I've got a meeting with the new city accountant at 10. Thank you, Kiana, as always. And I have a meeting with another gentleman at 3. So I imagine maybe lunches.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
I mean, I wouldn't think it'd take us very long, hour maybe, so noon, 1 o'clock, somewhere around there, maybe I'll go buy you lunch. All right,
All right, thank you.
appreciate you. All right, Let's get into city business, and then I'll get around to citizen comments at the end here. Let everybody absorb everything. We have a second reading of ordinance 2022-06. This is an ordinance of the City of Walton, Kentucky, approving the recommendation of the Boone County Planning Commission in order to adopt a text amendment to the Walton zoning ordinance, section 3154, of outside storage, display, and loading areas, in order to revise those regulations in certain limited circumstances. Counselor, would you please take this over?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. You just read the title, and that's got a lot of the summary in it. If you all remember, we had been approached by the Tractor Supply people that they needed some revisions to our ordinance, and what we had suggested to the Planning Commission, this is all in the zoning ordinance, in order to accommodate their development, we proposed that we would modify the requirements for outside storage, display, and loading areas, but only in the C2 zone, only if it has frontage on 2 local streets, only if it's immediately adjacent to an industrial zone, and only if it has a minimum of 6 acres. This is all just for the City of Walton. Currently, that narrows down any site that a development like this could be built to that corner lot that Tractor Supply wants to build on. So that's basically the summary, and you all can adopt this ordinance by motion.
Second.
Howard Stevens,
Yes.
John Wainwright,
Yes.
Terry Courtney,
Yes.
Dan Martin,
Yes.
Matt Brown.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, we have resolution 2022-03. Resolution of the City of Walton, Kentucky, authorizing the execution of a lease with White Cloud Communications US LLC for the use of a portion of the city's Beaver Road water tower for the purpose of installing, erecting, maintaining, repairing, replacing, or removing and operating a wireless communication system and other communications facilities. Counselor,
I was going to say, that was a mouthful, but that pretty much explained the whole deal.
I'll go into a little more detail for those. Council is familiar with it, but since we have citizens, this is a branch off of a local company, the Bowling Group. This is a new company for them. They are doing wireless internet. It's a Walton born and bred company. They are going to, they're wanting to use our water tower. We already lease out the water tower currently. They're going to lease just basically what I would call a small cell service, I guess would be the best way to describe it. It would be slightly below what we already lease out. This would be able, they would have the capacity to be able to shoot wireless internet to rural communities or places nearby that might not have access to fiber internet or cable internet. They've agreed to compensate the City of Walton for that, and will provide a few locations for us, as well as maintain the lighting on our water tower, which they normally do anyway, but they charge us for. In this case, they'll do it for free. So
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Does this include 5G technology?
I'm not sure of the speed, Terry. I know it's not, no, actually, I don't believe it is a 5G cell site.
Okay. If it is 5G, then that changes my mind on everything just because of health
No.
implications. So are we sure before we vote that it's not
Now,
5G?
I'm almost positive it's wireless internet, just a straight beam. I don't believe it's, Bowling Group does 5G cell sites for Verizon and others, but what we're running off that tower now, on top of that, through, who is it?
I think it's Verizon.
Verizon.
It's, no, it's T-Mobile, yeah. And well, I think T-Mobile merged, but it's definitely T-Mobile. But no, it's just wireless internet. I'm pretty sure it's not 5G wireless internet. It's never been described to me as 5G wireless internet.
So if we were to approve this on the first reading tonight, can you find out clarification?
There's only one reading.
Yeah, this is a
Oh,
This
resolution.
is a resolution to allow me basically to enter into contract negotiations, more or less.
If you're not 100% sure, can we be 100% sure before we vote? I appreciate it. It just would change my vote if it is 5G.
Yep, be right back.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Excuse me, everybody.
Well, I think we can approach this at the next meeting there, Gabe.
I'm pretty sure it's.
I don't know the answer.
I don't either.
I grew up on Beaver Road, and I believe there's health implications with 5G. Yes, sir.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah.
What brands would be on these towers? They sell brands?
That's a great question.
Don't
You
know.
know more than we do, it sounds like.
It's not gonna be Verizon, Verizon something.
When the mayor comes back in, he may have more information, so I would hope you'll ask him that question. Absolutely.
What brought you out tonight?
Yeah, the place got
I got you.
Did those papers help you at all?
yes.
Would you like the fire department's papers as well?
Yes, that'd be nice.
If you want to step up there, I'll give you mine. You're welcome.
If there's anything else he needs, have him call City Hall. We'll make sure he has it.
I guess, would you guys rather have somebody come in and talk to us about this, or what do y'all want to do?
I'm fine with it how it is.
Regardless of 5G or not?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
I don't know nothing about health and 5G or nothing like that.
Google's your friend.
Sometimes.
Maybe Google's not, it gets me in trouble.
Sorry, I left my phone in the car. I've got Carrie Bowen on the phone here. Carrie, how are you? Welcome to the City of Walton Council meeting. Carrie, could you repeat that for me?
It's fixed wireless internet.
Fixed wireless internet. So it's not 5G.
So instead of fiber, I'll be able to deliver internet wirelessly.
Okay.
So again, it's not 5G, right?
Correct.
What brands run off of it?
This young man had a question, Mayor, and
Yeah.
that's where Matt's question stemmed from.
What brands would be running off of this cellular area, like Verizon, T-Mobile?
We already bounce off. T-Mobile already uses our tower. So T-Mobile sells off our lease and lets others bounce off of it. This is strictly internet in relation to this.
That's it. No phone, no game, nothing like that.
Okay?
Thank you, Carrie.
Carrie, thank you very much.
Okay.
Sorry to bother you at dinner time, man.
Appreciate you all.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
And I'm sorry for leaving my phone in the car. Normally it's, well, I'm not going to describe where it normally is. So anyway, surprised I missed it. Anyway, going through that, I would now need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Howard Stevens,
Yes.
John Wainwright,
Yes.
Carrie Courtney,
Yes.
Dan Martin,
Yes.
Matt Brown.
Yes.
Okay. Open it up to citizens' comments. I see you, young man. You had some questions. Thank you for being here. Okay. Well, thank you for being here anyway. We don't get a huge fan following. I assume you're dead.
I'm Dad, I just brought him up here.
Well, thank you for bringing it.
Thank you very much. You're doing good.
Yes, sir. My name is Wayne Morris, as everybody probably knows. And since we got this beautiful weather, my dog and I walk a lot down to the park. So I'd like to compliment the mayor and city council on what the activities are. They're being replenished and rehabbed and made much nicer at the park. I think the tennis courts are almost finished.
They're
The
completed.
basketball court was refinished. I see a lot of people enjoying, I guess it's called frisbee golf. So that was a great addition to the park. Saw some soccer teams playing soccer down there. Fantastic. I see work going on at the men's and women's bathrooms. I want to call them latrines, but bathrooms. So all of that's great, and I'm happy to see those improvements. But one thing I did notice, and I'm a fix-it-first guy, as I walked around, I love that story walk, partly because it's educational and it's all about aviation. But the signs have fallen down. The signs were originally put up with self-packing screws, it appears, and the screws are packing off, and the signs are coming out. There's, I think 9, 10, and 11 are the primary ones. That 2 are laying on the ground and one's coming off. Maybe if we could put some through bolts, maybe our engineer could tell us that, put some through bolts to hold those in place, so we won't have to replace the signs, they won't get all beat up.
What are we talking about? I'm sorry.
On the walking path.
Around the park? I
Okay.
can take you down and show you.
No.
But it's a great walk. It's a great walk to go around. A good exercise. A lot of people walk their dogs. An amazing thing that people may not know is there's a sheep farmer right behind it. And that sheep farmer moves his herd usually every day. The little sheeps, and you can hear them bleating and baaing. And it's kind of cool to see that close to the park. But I like that trail, and I just wanted to compliment the mayor and city council on keeping that park so well. I don't know if it's us or Boone County that does it, maybe it's a conglomeration of both. But it's a great place for us to go, and you always have summer activities, movies and so on. Oftentimes there's a sunrise service from churches down there on Easter Sunday. So it's a great little addition to this little tiny town. So I just want to make a comment. And then the request to please get those signs fixed before it gets worse off.
I tell you what, we'll have something on that probably by night's end, if not midday tomorrow. Myself and Councilman Brown communicate with David Whitehouse quite frequently. Had a conversation with him today, usually through text. I haven't walked that trail in quite some time. So I have to be honest that I'm ignorant to the fact that there was even a story trail on it. Long story short, when I used to run cross country and track, we used to run throughout the streets of Walton and whatnot, and we could always change our course. And a little kid, he wasn't little, but he was goofy, and I'm not going to mention his name, was screwing around in the middle of the road and got hit by a car. And the school and the mayor at the time shut down cross country and track ever running on the roads in Walton again. So they built that trail around there. So for the next 2.5 years, every day at cross country practice, I used to have to run that mile-long track 3, 4, depending on even if it was a distance day, sometimes 10 times. So I've just given up on walking it. Occasionally I'll do it. But I will check it out. I will get with David Whitehouse as well as Matt. I'm sorry for the trip down memory lane that nobody cared about.
David Whitehouse is the Boone County Park.
Yes, he's the head of Boone County Parks. We pay for any site improvements that are beyond general maintenance.
I
So,
apologize for the smart remark, but I would love to walk the park with you. Sometime.
you know what?
Got a golf cart?
He's got some open time.
I tell you what, I could probably use a good little walk, okay? So you want to set that up, we'll do that.
Widen the road, then you can drive down it.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's still light out there.
So AM or PM.
We're not doing anything tonight, so.
We do it AM and PM, so anytime is good.
I tell you what, I'll get a hold of you. I know where you live.
All right, thank you,
So-
Mayor. Thank you, City Council.
All right,
Mr. Farrow had something.
Ron, tell me a good joke, Ron.
Anyway, Ron Farrell, if people don't know who I am, I live on, down at the end of Brookwood, that some people refer to as the Riddle Street. I got questions about the street drains. And where I live is in the circle. I get all the street water from Ashwood coming through my property. I get all the water coming from Brookwood into the bottom of the circle. All comes through. Mr. Brookie next door that owns the farm put in a 6-foot high dollar culvert to keep that to make that drain a lot better. The problem being, as it comes out of the street part that comes out of the dirt, the pond is about 3 to 4 foot deep, and it will not drain into to the culvert. It won't get to the culvert. I've asked Roger 2 or 3 times to take a look at it. No luck there yet.
When
Is there
it,
anything that we can do, or have somebody look?
Ron, when does this build up in particular? Is it usually after it rains, or is
No,
it?
it's anytime. It's
Constant?
got a horrible skim over top of it. Great for a mosquito farm.
Mac, we're meeting on Monday. Can we put that on our agenda? Maybe,
That'd be great.
maybe we get lunch to go. We'll eat it on the fly, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Barb?
Oh, okay, I'm sure you know why I'm here.
I'm leaving.
Okay, I'm Barb Farrow, I live at the same place that he lives at, at the bottom of the street in the circle in Brooklyn.
Except I got a garage and you got the rest of that.
Back in November, they did that sewer upgrade, so to speak, I guess. Our street looks like a war zone, folks. Has anybody driven down our street? They have not fixed any of the yards on the right-hand side. They are nothing but chunks of dirt. That pile of sand is still sitting in front of somebody's yard. It's a mess. It's May. We want our yards fixed. I have a picture of my yard before they started, and I want my yard back the way it was before they started on it, and it's not our job to do that. We've already talked to Cincinnati Bell about the fiber issue. That's taken care of, and that was just small compared to the sewer issue. They've dug up how many times different people's yards the city has to fix things that the sewer people screwed up. Including in our yard, a couple of weeks ago, they dug up a hole because there's water draining out of our yard. It's still draining out of our yard and they couldn't find the leak. So I don't know, it's got a pile of dirt this high now in front of our yard too. So we just want our yards fixed. And although a lot of the houses are rental, and I know the street is referred to as the rental street,
But we've
we
lived there
do
40
have
years.
people that actually own their homes and live there. They might not be here tonight. My neighbor complains to me every day that he works night shift, or he would have been here. He'll talk to me tomorrow morning and know what happened, because he's asked me over and over, and we said something to Roger, but every time we say it, they'll say, well, they're gonna start tomorrow, or they're gonna start next week. Next week and tomorrow is 5 months delayed. Dirt is in front of our driveway all the time, because all of the water, when it rains, it all rushes out of all this dirt, yards, and rests in our driveway. It's got to be fixed. Somebody's got to do it. I don't care if it's the sewer people or the city, but we've got to get the yard fixed. Drive down our street and look at the right-hand side. Every yard from the stop sign down is a mess.
I can vouch for her, she is absolutely correct.
Yeah, we've talked about this at a meeting several times.
Well, it's been like this. When did they finish? Maybe December. So 5
They
months.
haven't finished. Everything keeps coming back. And it's not entirely their fault, Barb. I'm not going to lay, that would be the easy thing to do, is lay all the blame on them. It's not entirely their fault. The reason a lot of those leaks that we've had to keep coming back is the way the original developers designed with the water. They did what's called spider lines, where instead of running a line straight down the street and branching off to each individual home, they ran them all together and then just veered them off. So when you cap one, you don't necessarily catch everything. So when they went through and cut, it caused some problems. So that's why we had to go back and replace. I promise you, by the end of this meeting, I'll call Roger. I'll see what's up again, and if we have to, we will absolutely go out and do our own. We've been into some pretty intense arguments and discussions with these people. Trust me, we're not happy with it either. And just for the record, I've never once heard that referred to as the rental street. I've never called it the rental street. That might be something you all in the know on your street call it, but that doesn't.
I've heard people in the city refer to it as the rental street.
Well, it doesn't come from my office, and that's the first I've ever heard of it called that.
I know that one house up there, it leaked from December on.
And it did. Nobody could find it.
And when it got cold, our whole drive, at the bottom of our driveway was a sheet of ice this far out from our driveway. We couldn't even get to our mailbox because it was ice. And it was because that water kept running down all winter long, all winter, and nobody did anything. I tried to report it more than once. We've talked with Roger about it more than once. We've talked, and it was just, okay, we know it's running. We know it's running. Everybody knew it was running, and it comes to the bottom of the street, and that's us. And we get all mud, we had all the ice, and I'm just 5 months fed up with it. 5 months worth. It's time to clean it up. We want our yards to look nice. It's summertime. We take pride in our yard.
I know you do, Barb. You've got a beautiful yard, and I've seen I see your pictures of your plants and the wonderful job you all do with it, and I can understand. I know that you do. I promise.
And with all the rocks and stuff that they dug up, when they dug up, they can't just throw gray seed on top of those rocks.
Yeah, it needs to be topsoil.
It has to be completely redone, or grass isn't going to grow. My neighbor next door, he almost does everything but sweep his yard. I mean, he is just at me every day. I'm not on council anymore, but he comes to see me all the time.
Barb, for the sake of meeting purposes and this being an open meeting and for legal purposes, I can't get into a whole lot of details.
Just so it gets.
I'm not going to put the city in that position, but I can promise you we'll get it taken care of, hell or high water, okay? Before next May, it's settled. Before next May, it'll be done. No, I hope it's.
We all got elections coming up, so.
Oh, yeah, elections. We're talking about that, okay.
And which one of you's running for mayor? So you guys can fix it. No, we'll get you taken care of, Mark. I promise. I've never not thought that
Just drive down the street from the stop.
I do. I have. I've driven down since this project started. Anytime we have a project, trust me.
It's like a war zone down there.
I might not stop and knock. It's just because I don't have enough time to have a beer with Ron and and have you yell at me, so, but I do drive down your street.
See a place that's with bottom with dirt that you'll be very familiar with.
Yeah,
You've been there and done that. Same spot.
well, hopefully it's settled by now.
It wasn't on our side. It was on our side.
Not the same spot, but it's same place.
That's rough dirt there, too. My back still hurts. All right, I think that's it for,
I'm just the wife.
You're more than the wife.
what do you got, young man?
Okay, so the street next to Brooks Mead. Brooks Mead's, there's like a huge pot.
You good on directions, young man?
I think it's that way.
It's actually.
Yeah, it's definitely that way.
Brooks Mead is definitely this way.
Yeah, it's that way, because on my way to school every morning, there's a large pothole. I don't know if it's like a sewage lid, because it's a bit deep for a pothole.
Is this US 25?
I don't know. But it's
Is
on
this
that-
Main Street here?
Yeah, it's around there.
Okay.
And like, you're hitting potholes, and this could damage older vehicles. And we, like, and getting parts for those older vehicles are gonna be expensive. Do we really wanna, like, risk having to spend more money?
Okay. You're good. You're welcome to government and bureaucracy, young man. I'm going to direct you.
When we open it up and make a splash park out of it.
We should.
Oh,
By golly.
Pothole.
You got a pen on you?
I got pencil.
Got a pencil? Okay. KYTC District 6.
Kids send links.
You can go to the cityofwalton.org, and there is a link to report a pothole to the state of Kentucky. If you notice, when you drive around this town, anything that doesn't have a US in front of it, our potholes are generally fixed. If we owned this road, or any of the other roads, I can promise you those potholes would be repaired. Oh, you have a pothole on your road?
Not on my road, no, but when I was on council, I requested that the one up there on Beat Depot, right at the corner there, there's a, I think you said it was gas. Anyway, it keeps getting deeper and bigger, so if somebody could do something with that.
Well, it's on our list as well, I believe, Depot for this year,
I
correct?
think it's on the other side, ain't it?
The other side of the railroad crossing is, but if they're gonna be there.
Well, anyway, I take back my bravado there then. Not every pothole, but the ones we know about in a timely fashion. Anyway, District 6 is the one that you complain to. We are not legally allowed to go and fill their potholes for them. And yes, I realize how they could damage vehicles. And in that regard, if you should happen to run through a pothole on a state road and blow out your tire, you can also go to a tire place. You will have to pay the money to get your tire repaired, and then you can send your receipt with a picture of said pothole to District 6, and they will reimburse you. That may take 4 months, but they will do it. I've seen it done. We're kind of, I like to call it District 5 and 7/8 because we're not quite, we're at the very bottom of District 6's concerns, and we're not quite District 5, which serves most of Grant County, Owen County, and some of the surrounding counties there. So we're almost the very last ones to get anything done. So you're driving now?
No, I'm not.
Oh, so this is Dad talking.
It's him riding the car.
I'm sick of like driving, like not driving, but like riding in a car and like doing something and almost having my head hit the top of the car every time I run over that thing.
He's gonna be a future councilman.
Hey, put your phone down and keep your head up. You can see him coming, all right?
It's even then, it's like you can't really brace for it. It's just kind of like a...
I think you should get extra credit for bringing this to our attention and reaching out and contacting District 6. Make sure your teacher knows all of that.
You let me know. I'll write you a recommendation for anywhere you want to go, all right?
It won't help you any, but you'll have it.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Agreed.
You'd be surprised there, Mr. Martin. You'd be surprised. Anyway, yeah, I'm definitely, actually, see me after the meeting, okay? I got a number for you. As long as it's you and you only, I got a number for you, okay?
If you could pass that along to us when you're done.
It's probably Howard Stevens' personal cell phone.
No, it won't be. I'll put you in touch with who to call. Council comments, Howard Stevens.
I just want to say thank you for everybody for coming out and being here, and your input's important. Thank you.
Councilwoman Courtney?
I agree with Howard. It's great to see familiar faces as well as new faces, and I would invite everyone, bring your friends, your family. May 17th, public hearing about the rezoning. Regardless of how you feel, your feedback and input is valued. So, young man, I'd love to see you here again next Tuesday. Bring daddy.
Absolutely.
And then if I could also,
Condos. 125, I think.
125 condos behind Kroger in front of the fire department. And so it's Giovanna. Giovanna is our city clerk, and Giovanna's posted it out there on social media, on the City of Walton website. I'm sure you can find it, as well as our Facebook page, as well as Walton News of Interest, and there's another.
Paper like taped on the front door.
Oh, she pointed me to the front door where the notice is posted as well. So see that on the way out before you meet with Mayor, just if you're interested. But please come next Tuesday, regardless of how you feel. And then my other question, it would be, Mayor, I had asked Giovanna and Cindy, I was unsure. The superintendent of the Walton Vernon School District thanked council and the mayor for support for Wake Up Walton, and I was just curious in what capacity we were able to support.
We provide a dumpster and have for probably at least the past 10 to 15 years, or since the inception of it, whenever it was.
Okay, very good. I was unclear.
We bought a dumpster for them to throw their trash in.
Okay, thank you. Nothing else?
Okay?
Oh yeah, we did forget John.
John's, I'll get to John last. John's on, anytime you're on Zoom.
I'm good, buddy.
Good.
John,
Yo,
you there, buddy?
can you hear me?
You got any comments?
You can hear me.
We can
We can hear you.
Okay, so, all right, well, first off, sorry I couldn't make it this week. I'm down working, but I'll be up for the meeting on Tuesday. So again, like Terry said, we hope to see some folks out to gather some information. Secondly, I would just say happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms. Beautiful weather, so hope you all had a wonderful time. And that's all I got. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. So.
There's the first time for everything, John. Thank you.
I thought the same thing when you said you were going to go for a walk.
I was shocked that it ran cross country. That one took me by surprise.
Hey, my PR was 4:43 for a mile, so let's get that out there. That's sub 5.
44.3?
No, 4:43.
And that was last week.
And how long ago was that?
Yeah.
Oh, ooh.
24 years ago.
At least 20.
It had to be prior to smoking, correct?
Oh no, I smoked every
While you
day.
were running.
I did. I was a pretty fast person actually, but I would sneak off behind buildings at meets and smoke cigarettes. I was a bad kid. But anyway, that's I can tell people now, don't smoke, children.
Make note of that.
Yeah. I have really no comments either. So thank everybody for coming out. We've had a very good, wonderful, productive meeting at caucus. I look forward to working on the budget next Monday and ironing out some things, and I look forward to our discussions over that. We had a productive caucus meeting, and I was very happy for that, and I look forward to some more productive meetings in the future. So thank you all, and if I could get a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Howard Stevens.
Yes. All in favor, aye.
John Wainwright.
Yes.
Terry Courtney.
Yes.
Dan Martin.
Yes.
Matt Brown.
No.
He's outvoted.
What a friggin' trip.
That's normal.